Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Casual Friday, free for all Friday, 888-589-8840. By the way, this Sunday we're going to have an I Pledge broadcast on our network, the AFR network, from 6 to 8 p.m. Central. So do the math. If you live in a different time zone, it's going to be a live broadcast from 6 to 8 p.m. We're calling it I Pledge Sunday, and it's a call to faith, family, and freedom. This will be the largest gathering, the largest virtual gathering of the pro-faith, pro-family community prior to the election. Tony Perkins will be on this broadcast, Rick Santorum, Bishop Harry Jackson, Kirk Cameron. Going to be a 90-minute event that's going to celebrate Christian citizenship, and it's going to exhort Christians to register to vote and to show up on November 6th and make their voices heard. So I Pledge Sunday. It's going to involve prayer for the upcoming election. It's going to involve a challenge to prepare for folks to prepare themselves by registering themselves and others, and then urge them to participate again. That is this Sunday on the AFR network from 6 to 8 p.m. Well, let's grab a couple of phone calls starting off this section. Let's go to Dave, Midway Park, Florida. Dave, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
No, this is James, Midway Park, North Carolina.
Yes, how you doing? Oh, okay.
Okay. She mismade
Okay, go ahead.
Mistake.
Go ahead, James.
But anyway, you mentioned at the beginning about our leaders and the different kings and so on over there in Israel. Well, one of our signers said that it is our right and our duty for the people to select Christians as their leaders. And they weren't talking about just religious denominational people. They were talking about real Christians. And the truth in that is there is God's choice. Because when Saul got anointed, he was anointed from a bowl. He was men's choice. But when God's choice got up there, David was anointed from a ram's horn, which means a man made the bowl, but God created the ram's horn to anoint David, who was his choice.
All right. Well, thank you, James. I appreciate that. You know, and James, appreciate the call. And James quoted or was referring to a quote from John Jay, who was the first justice of the United States Supreme Court. This guy was head of the Supreme Court. And this is what the first justice, Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court said. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is what the Founding Fathers said, believed, taught, practiced. In my opinion, it is the right and duty of our pastors to press the observances of all moral and religious duties and to condemn every course of conduct which may be repugnant to them. And catch this, Providence has given to our people the choice of their rulers, and it is the duty, privilege, and interest of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers. That's the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. It is the duty. We have an obligation, he says, as a Christian nation. And notice he was unapologetic. The United States is a Christian nation. First Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. This is a Christian nation. And it is the duty, the responsibility, the obligation, as well as the privilege of a Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers. So he was saying the same thing we learned in 1 Kings. If you put an idolater in the White House, it could be disastrous for your nation. Let's go to Paul, Dallas, Texas. Paul, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Yes, thanks. Since you didn't listen to the speech, I really have to call your attention and the audience, for those who didn't catch it, what I thought was absolutely one of the most jaw-dropping moments of the speech. He's talking about how, it's not going to be easy, it's going to take a long time, and so on. So he starts bringing up shared responsibility and the kind of bold, persistent experimentation that Franklin Roosevelt pursued during the only crisis worse than this one. And now here's the kicker. And by the way, those of us who carry on his party's legacy should remember that not every problem can be remedied with another government program or dictate from Washington. I almost fell out of my chair on that one. I mean, Roosevelt's program was a government program.
Well,
Obama's.
And see what that tells you, Paul. what that tells you, the fact that he would include something like that in his speech, that not everything can be solved with the government program. In fact, he would just say it even though he doesn't mean it. You know, I mean, the DNC believes we all belong to the government. Government is supreme. That's why there's no place for God in their platform till they kind of forced it in, because to them, government is God. We all belong to the government. The government controls us. The government's our nanny. The government's our daddy. Government's our husband. Government is everything. That's our God. It's not God is God. Government is God. But, you know, the fact, Paul, that he would even say that not everything can be solved with the government program tells me that he knows what the American people want to hear, and he knows that message that every problem can be solved with the government program is not resonating with American people, and that they, in fact, reject that approach to our public life.
I agree completely. Let me just give you the one winnable war moment from the speech, too. He says, and yes, my plan will continue to reduce the carbon pollution that is heating our planet because climate change is not a hoax. So I just wanted you to know that you and Cal Weisner were getting inside this guy's head.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. In fact, let's grab clip number 3. That was the only one mention. Paul is correct. There was only one mention of global warming or climate change in Obama's speech, and that was it, the one that he just read to you. Now, here is John Kerry. John Kerry wants to be the next Secretary of State. He wants to replace Hillary Clinton. This was an audition speech to become the next Secretary of State, and he dropped global warming into the mix and had the nerve to cite Scripture in the process. Let's listen.
An exceptional country does care about the rise of the oceans and the future of the planet. That is a responsibility. That is a responsibility from the Scriptures. And that, too, is a responsibility of the leader of the free world.
So there's John Kerry. All of a sudden, it's all about the Bible. It's all about the Scriptures. This is a scriptural standard. This is what the Bible teaches, that we have to care about the rise of the oceans, as if we could do anything about the rise of the oceans. The Scriptures are very clear, is that God is the one who sets the boundaries for the oceans. And all this hype about the ocean levels rising, all of that is just completely bogus. It's complete nonsense. There is no increase, any kind of increase of any significance in ocean levels. Let's drop down to clip 11, Rob, if we can. This is the Rahm Emanuel clip. And by the way, and the reason I bring this clip up, I had this in the can yesterday. We didn't use it. But I thought, according to what President Obama said in 2008, if you elect me, we have solved all of this. All of this has been solved. This is the day that the planet begins to heal. This is the day that the rise of the oceans begins to slow. And here's Rahm Emanuel, this is back in 2009, saying basically the same thing. Let's listen.
The president arrives. The rain stops. The sun comes out. Coincidence? I think not. Last time the president was here was 71 degrees and beautiful. And that was between the two events. He arrives, the sun is out, and things are moving again.
So that's Rahm Emanuel. President shows up, the rain stops, and the sun comes out. So I don't know why John Kerry is telling us that's our job. I thought the president said that's my job, and I'll take care of it, and you elect me, and all this is going to be solved. Well, here we are 4 years later, John Kerry saying the problem has not been solved. Let's go to Danny in Tampa, Florida, if we can bring Danny in. Danny, Tampa, Florida, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Brian. My favorite evangelical is Brian Fisher. Yeah. I was telling Jan that I got $300 in this election, and I feel real good about it. She goes, well, I hope you're wrong. But I'll tell you what, following Bill Clinton's speech, that's Bill Clinton is like the Sandy Koufax. I mean, that's a master. You being a Giant fan, you remember Sandy Koufax.
Oh, yeah, all too well.
All too well. The greatest pitcher I've ever seen in my life. He no-hit the Giants in 1962. And Bill Clinton is a master orator. Unfortunately, Barack Obama had to follow Bill Clinton. And while I didn't see the speech last night because I was at my karaoke place, I sing karaoke. I'm a great singer. No bragging, just
You
fact.
A karaoke guy?
Oh, yeah. I sing
Oh, man,
good.
I'll tell you what. I love karaoke,
Mhm.
but I trust me about this. If Debbie and I, if we went out on a date to a karaoke bar and I even thought about getting up in front of that thing, and I'm with you, Danny, I think I'm a pretty terrific singer. I think I'm just fine.
I'll bet you are.
Debbie would not let me get within a mile. of that microphone, and she would have good reason for that. Anyway, go ahead.
Well,
Finish your thought.
5 years ago, just to put that on, okay, 5 years ago, I wouldn't get up and sing. I've been singing since I was 10. I was shy. But anyway, it's all fun, and they're great people there. And they're all
So, Danny, you actually missed
Yeah,
Barack Obama's speech in order to go sing karaoke?
I did because I love my people there and everything. My sister taped it, but you know what? I didn't even see it. I heard some of it, and while I agree with what he says and everything, it wasn't his best speech. There's no doubt about it. And you know, like I said, you got to follow Bill Clinton. But I feel real good about it. I like all the speakers. I like Julian Castro. He's like our Marco Rubio and everything. And I just want to say, Brian, that. I think Barack Obama's going to win the election. If we lose, we lose. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I can always move to Denmark, or I can move somewhere else.
Well, now you heard that Lady Gaga's actually going to leave the planet. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
Well, maybe Danny, you can get hold of Lady Gaga and see if she'll reserve you a spot on the next shuttle out of here.
I don't want to be near her. I mean, you know, she's not my type. You know.
I heard somewhere. I read this today that that meat dress that she made, that dress she made all out of meat.
Yeah.
That's going to go up in some museum somewhere.
I believe it. But
anyway, Danny, I just want to button one thing down with you before I let you go.
Sure.
And by the way, Ellen Ratner, who ran Radio Row, she told me that I am her favorite homophobe. So
yes,
now I'm your favorite evangelical. So I am just starting to rack up friends
with liberals.
With liberals.
Let me say this before you let me go. First of all, Alan Combs, your favorite. I used to call him. Yeah, I bet you he gives you a hard time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
He hadn't had me back on in a while. I think I'm on his blacklist.
Let me say real quickly. I hate to, no offense, but you know, I think that if you people would see Jesus Christ came back from this planet, you all would put him to death again. You'd call him a long-haired, left-wing hippie, revolutionary, piece of love. We got to get rid of him. And y'all would crucify him again with rustier nails.
Now let me ask you, Danny, one last question. You actually, you seriously, literally, to borrow a phrase from Joe Biden, you literally have a $300 riding on this election?
Yes, I do. If I lose, I pay out $300. I win $300. If I win, I get $300. If I lose, I pay $100. So I had to take the odds.
All right, Danny. Listen, I appreciate the call, Danny. I am his favorite evangelical. You are listening to Focal Point AFR Talk, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Right back after these brief messages.